What's up, guys? This is Miasin. So in the past couple of weeks, you probably have seen a lot of BANLIST prediction videos from various YouTubers out there, and I am going to be making one myself because I think this game is in a critical state at the moment. I've already mentioned this in a couple of videos before, but right now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in a position where if the next BANLIST isn't a complete nuke to the format, a lot of people will quit, probably permanently, because it would mean that Konami just has no intention of making the game better. Card design is not going to the right direction, especially because of the new Molchibi monster that's coming out in Rage of the Abyss. I've tested a lot of Rage of the Abyss format, and it's not enjoyable. It really just isn't fun. Even if you hit a lot of the currently existing decks, it just doesn't change the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself is a game that just needs like a fix completely. And by that, I mean a lot of the generic staples in the extra deck, a lot of the generic staples overall just have to be kind of nerfed in order to allow some other cards to exist for once, because I think the majority of the staples that people are playing right now are the cards that people have been playing for a little too long, and it's time for a healthy change. So yeah, today I have a list of like 30 cards or something that I will either be putting in the banned section, the limited section, the semi-limited, or the unlimited. So this is kind of like my thoughts. It's a BANLIST prediction slash wishlist video, as I do with every single video out there, because it's kind of impossible to really predict Konami. Sometimes we need like a ban list that hits like 20 cards, and then they end up hitting only like 4 cards or something, and sometimes it's the other way around. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, smash the like and subscribe button. You already know the drills, and also a huge shout out to my sponsors, Inspire TCG, as well as Dueling, and check them out. Link will be in the description box below. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So the first card is Fiendsmith Requiem. There is an argument to just ban the card. Obviously, you can't limit, semi-limit, or, you know, it's either this or that. But the thing about Requiem is just, like, if it gets banned, like, immediately, then it means that the whole Fiendsmith engine is pretty much dead for the most part. You can still kind of do some things, but you're gonna need a lot of Light Fiend monsters just to achieve the exact same thing. Because now, Sequentia, in order to fusion summon for the DS array, it's gonna be so expensive. So maybe it might work in a deck like Light Sword, where you mill so much that you usually have a lot of Light Fiends to play with, but as a splashable engine is gonna die, and maybe that's for the better, because, you know, people being able to turn 2 monsters into a rank 6, really not fun to play against. Appaloosa, I think at this point you already know my stance on it. This card is absolutely disgusting, terrible for the game. It's really bad because now it makes it so that Nibiru is way too easy to play through, which allows people to be very greedy, while also be safe from Nibiru, which it shouldn't exist. You have to pick one or the other. If you want to be greedy, you have to be willing to accept the risk that comes with it. But now, decks just feel like they're all low risk, high reward, especially when they go first, which is just disgusting. Appaloosa is not a card that requires a lot of resources either. It's a link 4, but usually there's just so much link climbing that people can easily summon Appaloosa with one single card, and they can do way more than just Appaloosa with one card. So yeah, when people say that it's a 4-card combo to summon an Appaloosa, you are stupid, my friend. Arch Nemesis Protoss, it's another card that I really want to see banned. The thing about Protoss is that this card right here, it should have never gone unbanned in the first place, because yeah, sure, it was abused in Sword Soul, but now it's abusable by everyone because of the Infernal Flame Banshee, which can search Nemesis Flag, which then searches Protoss, and there's nothing good that can come out of this. Again, it's a lingering effect. It's just dumb. You can't stop it if you don't draw hand traps. So do you really want to, like, create more cards that just, you know, exacerbate the issue that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has at the moment? I think not. So yeah, just because of that, Protoss shouldn't exist. It doesn't matter if the decks that can use Protoss are broken or not. The card itself is unhealthy, and therefore, I will choose to ban it. Snake Eye Ash, it's more than enough if you just limit the deck. I have like so many ways of destroying Snake Eye that it just doesn't really matter, but Snake Eye, again, is not the main issue of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. The main issue is how card design is stupid and out of control, because even if you just ban Snake Eye, it doesn't change the fact that this is still going to be a tier 0 format, because it's just going to be replaced by Yubel. And if you ban Snake Eye and Yubel, it's just going to get replaced by, you know, whatever, like Rescue Ace, for example. So no, you gotta really hit the issue at its root, and not, you know, just the decks that are seeing play. People can easily find replacements. So yeah, Snake Eye Ash at 1 for now is the one hit, but obviously I have way more to come. So yeah, don't close this video right now. Watch until the very end. Lightning Storm, I actually really want to ban this card, but I think at 1 it's probably okay. My issue is that there's one Duster and then 2 Lightning Storm, but then you look at Lightning Storm, and it's pretty much a Regeki and a Duster at the same time. So, I don't know, this card's just really weird to have at 2, when it basically has the effect of, like, 2 old-school banned cards. So, I don't know, it's not fun to play against at all, especially when Tenby Dragon can easily excavate it with Prosperity under Shifter, and then they kill you, no, just no thank you. Okay, Thunder Dragon Colossus, very interesting one. I would like to semi-limit the card because it got limited in the last ban list and it did absolutely nothing. So maybe we can potentially create an incentive for people to play Pure Thunder Dragon again if we semi-limit the card. And then we're gonna test the waters, right? If nothing happens with 2 Colossus, maybe test it out of 3. There's a huge difference, by the way, between 1, 2, and 3 Colossus. It's not like, ooh, you make 1 extra Colossus, I'm terrified. No, it's like your deck becomes more consistent, your deck has a better grind game, your deck can now randomly turn random bodies into, like, the Dragalubion OTK, so yeah, it's an overall very good card. And at semi-limited, it's pretty scary as well. Okay, what's this card right here? Yama. I want to see the world burn. I actually want this card to get banned because nobody really wants to play Unchained anymore. Unchained isn't even a deck, I want to say at this point. It's more of like an engine in any Fiend deck that can really abuse it. And I don't like that at all. It's a little too broken. If Yama gets banned, then at least Yubel won't be able to easily make a, I don't know, like Unchained Soul of Rage in the Abominable Chamber in order to play around the Dark Ruler no more. My issue with the Unchained cards is that they generate way too many interruptions for just such a small package. It's too strong. And especially, it was kind of like more fair before SP was a thing, but now Unchained Soul of Rage into SP, oh no, that's out of control. At least they were going into Unicorn before, which is less unfair, because that's only 1 removal, and you got a discard card, but now it's like no discard, and I'm using your monster, and I'm banishing your card, and then I have another banish effect. It's just, nah, that's way too unfair. This card is Beatrice. Yeah, nah, that's a given. I think everybody can agree on the fact that Beatrice has to go. By the way, I want to make it very clear, anything that you see in the ban section or even limited section, when I see banned or limit, like ban or limit a card, I'm also suggesting the fact that an errata could be a great alternative, because sometimes people say, oh, Yak Sign, you got stupid takes, I can't believe you want Beatrice to get banned, my idea is way better, I want Beatrice to get freaking errata instead. I'm like, do you even freaking listen when I speak? I've already mentioned in the past, Beatrice is probably better off with an errata where it becomes better for Burning Abyss and worse for generic decks that are trying to abuse it. So my suggestion for Beatrice, and again, nobody listens when I speak, it's incredible. That's the reason why I roast the shit out of y'all. You guys are stupid sometimes. But the thing about Beatrice is that if you summon it in Burning Abyss, it should actually have the effect where it can use this effect right away. But when you play generically, it should make it so that you wait 1 full turn. But for some reason, right, the card is better outside of its own deck, which is mind-blowing. And also, its name should get errata instead. Beatrice, Lady of the Burning Abyss. There we go. Yo, Burning Abyss players are gonna love me now. Okay, this card is Armageddon Knight. I think it's already a 2 right now, and nobody gives 2 shits, so yeah, a 3 is fine. Oh, I'm gonna have to scroll down. Yeah, alright, okay, yeah, no, that's ugly now. Ooh, we can see all the cards too. The Tenby Dragon Field Spell, at 1, but you know me, I hate the deck, so I would love to ban that card. But it's probably gonna go to 1, realistically, and also 1 euros, so yeah, the deck is sending a lot of players to Worlds, a lot, I don't know if it's a lot, but enough, yeah. I'm already, like, very disappointed to see people do well with the deck, because mechanically speaking, this is, like, one of the most linear decks this game has ever seen in its history. It's really just you activate 1 card, which is usually Shifter on your opponent's turn, and then they do nothing and they pass, and then you either, like, finish the rest of the job with, like, Lightning Storm, Duster, Regeki, whatever. Or obviously, if you're good at the game, then you got Shifter and Magnamut. And then you activate your 1-card combo and you kill. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know this might sound really stupid, but I don't remember the last time I saw Tenby Dragon go into battle phase. Now, do you remember? Because if so, there's probably something wrong. Tenby Dragon rarely gets to battle phase, because usually people understand when they lose. It's not a deck that can really it's a deck that either OTKs or does nothing. There is no in-between. So, usually when they go into battle phase, they kill you. It's not like they can go into battle phase and then only deal 3,000 damage, and then make a small board in main phase 2 and grind with you. No, that almost never comes up. That's gonna come up like 3 times in your tournament experience. Usually, it's OTK or bust, which is disgusting for the game, especially when the deck just does it way too consistently. It's not like it's a fun deck to play against, and it's also not really a fun deck to play with, so it just... Yeah, screw that deck. I want Tenby Dragon to burn in hell. Magispectre Unicorn Kieran, this card sucks ass, it should go to 3 and nobody is gonna care about it. It's actually a really bad card. So what I find funny about Kieran is that it's actually unplayable in Magispectre. I mean, no, that's not true, it's not unplayable. It's a 1-of in Magispectre even if you have 3, because it's unpendulum summonable, because it's level 6, which is the biggest troll ever, because your Magispectres are scale 5 and 2. So you basically can never pendulum summon this. You can summon it with a couple of the spell cards. You can summon it with a field spell, I believe. I don't know, I don't care. But yeah, no, this card's just not really good in its own deck. It was banned not even because of Magispectre, but because of Metal Foes, if I recall correctly. So yeah, it's just a Pendulum good stuff card, which is, to be fair, I feel like the whole Pendulum mechanic is kind of like that, you know. It's just usually there's not like one super specific Pendulum deck that's dedicated to only one archetype. It always involves a lot of other generic Pendulum cards. You can argue maybe Pendulum should get a pass on that regard, and they should be able to incorporate as many other engines because, I don't know, it's just fun, right? You just play a lot of monsters, but yeah, no, Magispectre, it needs all the help that it can get, and I don't think that extra Kirans are gonna change anything. This card doesn't really help its own deck. Runic Tip, this card should go to 1. I think it's a good card, and I think it's one of the best Runic cards. And it's fine if it goes to 1 because, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't like Runic. It's that simple. I just don't like the deck. Different Dimension Ground, if I limit the card, it's not going to change anything because usually people always turbo it out with Thrust or, I don't know, with other things. Potentially there might be an argument where you just limit the card, but it also doesn't change anything. If I'm banning Beatrice as well, then there is no Angel Blue Tears combo where you just set this card. Maybe at 1 it's fine because it also means that Trap Trick can't get access to it, but also Labyrinth can still get access to it. Personally, if you ask me, I'm just trying to ban the card. I don't think they will, but you know what? I'm riding the Copium train until the day I die, so let's just ban Different Dimension Ground. Ido, the Supreme Magical, whatever this is. Yeah, ban. I don't know. Yeah, it's basically Gimmick Puppet Nightmare 2.0. It's a little more fair because you can out this one with like Dark Hole and stuff. But you can't out Gimmick Puppet Nightmare at all because that one, I mean, you can with like Cross Out Designator calling your own Gimmick Puppet Nightmare if you play one. But that's pretty much the only out, so yeah, it sucks. Okay, Big Welcome Labyrinth. I want this card to go to 1, but not for the reasons that you think I think, right? This one's gonna be a tricky one to explain. So again, as I've mentioned before, I don't think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a problem with the currently existing decks. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a problem with card design overall and power creep. And one big thing that people don't really talk about is that even when there's a good deck that isn't super unfair, it might still be very bad for the game just because it prevents other decks from thriving. So, for example, the Labyrinth deck is a deck that completely outshines every other trap deck out there because it is just objectively better than them. I mean, it has like a much better grind game, a much better early game as well. The Labyrinth trap cards are just really strong, whereas when you look at like the Eldritch traps, for example, they're not bad, but realistically, the only real good trap card that can summon the Eldritch, the Golden Lord, is the Scarlet Sanguine. That card can get ashed and belled. Big Welcome as well. But then you also have Welcome Labyrinth, which can only get ashed, and then you can summon your Lovely, which then prevents your Big Welcome from getting ashed or belled. Eldritch is just way worse than Labyrinth in any way imaginable, and Labyrinth is also more flexible because it can be played as a furniture hand trap heavy deck or as a trap heavy deck. I've tested both extensively, by the way, for the Rage of the Abyss format, and I've also tested Eldritch, and I've had drastically better results with Labyrinth. But I think that the reason for that is because Labyrinth is just better. It has been created, I mean, the cards are just more recent. So overall, the cards are just more designed to be, you know, within the pace of modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! Whereas Eldritch is just a little too old for the current format. And because of that, I want to balance things up by limiting Big Welcome so that instead of everybody playing Labyrinth as their trap deck of choice, we will see more options. So again, the reason why I'm limiting Big Welcome Labyrinth isn't because I hate Labyrinth and I think it's a terrible deck for the game or whatever, blah blah blah, but rather it's because I want other trap decks to shine a little bit, and I think the only way to really incentivize the other trap decks to be played is by making the best trap deck by a long shot a little less good, and I think this is a step into the right direction. Okay, Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, yeah, you can go to hell. Alright, this one actually got a lot of backlash in the past for saying that King Calamity should get banned, and honestly, I I used to be like really arrogant, and I was like, nah, you guys are dumb. It's actually King Calamity the problem. No, it's I take it back. It's obviously Crimson Dragon. The thing is, especially when we saw the new Blue Eye support, even when you ban King Calamity, it doesn't change the fact that Crimson Dragon is still an extremely good option for the deck. You can go into Cosmic Blazar, the Supernova, Red Dragon, whatever, that banishes pretty much everything on the opponent's field. It's kind of unfair. Crimson Dragon can generically abuse pretty much any level 12 Synchro monster that gets printed in the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! The card's a little too good. My only argument, really, to not ban Crimson Dragon and to ban King Calamity instead was because of the fact that this was kind of like an anime boss monster. It's kind of like the, I don't know, like the signature monster of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. It's really important, but I thought it was gonna have like plot armor and everything, but when we saw like Firewall Dragon, it's also like the signature monster of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, I believe, and it got banned. And then unbanned with an errata that made it complete, I mean, not really complete garbage. It's still semi-playable, but it's nowhere near as what it used to be. I think Crimson Dragon should either get an errata or just burn in hell or whatever. Whatever. As it currently stands, this card is a little too good, but whether it's Crimson Dragon or King Calamity that gets banned, at least we won't have to deal with the annoying problem. Okay, IP Masquerade, am I banning this card? Of course. yeah, let's limit the card. Let's limit a card that people only play as a one of, yeah, we're obviously banning the shit out of IP Masquerade. I've already made a video on this card. I despise it from the bottom of my heart. It's in the same league as Appaloosa. Complete BS, you do not deserve to live, my friend. Sengen Kaimen, yeah, it's just another Tenby Dragon card that should get limited. It's really good, really annoying. Obviously, 2 search targets for the white. So yeah, if we can limit both of these cards, then the opponent might actually have a worse shot at OT King on turn 4 if you can Ogre this and then Ash this, because then the white doesn't really search anything anymore other than the trap card, which I really couldn't care less. I mean, especially if you really heard the consistency of the deck, then they might be forced to play it as something more than just an OTK deck, or maybe they can... they will be less able to play more non-engine cards, which again is good for the game, because now I really hate the fact that some decks can play like 24 non-engine and then like 16 engine, and it still gets them there. It's just unacceptable. Okay, Chicken Game is dog shit. Again, I've gotten a lot of hate in the past for saying that Chicken Game was bad. Some people were like, wow, Yaksign, you're really stupid. You don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You think that Chicken Game is a bad card. Clearly, you don't know what this card does. It's really good in Exodia, and Exodia is hands down one of the best decks in Master Duel. Blah blah blah. That, you know, that's the same people that watch like, you know, Naruto and like all those animes like from reels, and then they were like, bro, Donzo is like such a good person and everything. Shut up, bro. Chicken Game sucks. You suck. You're dumb. Let's move on. Okay, Dimensional Barrier, same thing as Different Dimension Ground. I hate that card. Anything that lingers just shouldn't exist. Like, all these cards are just in the same category of absolute bullshit. And Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, obviously, right? Yeah, none of these cards should exist. It's just bad card design. I'm fine with some cards that are decent going first, but bro, not something that says like you're gonna have to skip your turn and then next turn I kill you. It's not even like it promotes back and forth interaction, not at all. If you want to promote back and forth interaction, first of all, make decks a little less good, and also ban these stupid cards. Anyway, Skill Drain, I think that one's a little more fair than them, even though the effect of Skill Drain is broken. At least, at the very least, Skill Drain can be outed with Cosmic, Duster, Lightning Storm, and there's also like some creative ways of outing Skill Drain, such as Droplet and Ghost Ogre. You can miss summon the Nightmare Phoenix and then destroy Skill Drain, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then you Ogre yourself. You know, that's always something that you can do. So at least this card has some inherent counters to it, but these cards... hell no, it's Hand Shop or Bust, which is bullshit. Dimension Shifter, again, same boat. It's just not a... My issue with Dimension Shifter is that when it got announced, it was in a format that wasn't degenerate. It was like in the 2019 format with, you know, Orcus, Salamangreat, Sky Striker. That format was fantastic. And that format, I don't really feel like there were any decks that could really kill you at the speed of light in one turn. Salamangreat was good at OTKing, but Salamangreat was also eating the shit out of Nibiru, so at least it was kind of fair. So even though it could OTK, it also lost a Shifter and it lost a Nibiru, but it could play the most amount of hand traps out of every deck out there. And then Orcus was kind of like that fair, in a way, mid-range deck, and Sky Striker was like the kind of slow control deck that started off being very slow, and then at as you know, when the game progressed, then it started becoming faster and faster, because then you had Engage with a bunch of spells in grave, etc. But yeah, no, Shifter was actually fair in that format. So at least, you know, it started off being a pretty good card, but then eventually we started getting Shifter decks that were a little too good. And if you were passing to them, or just not playing aggressive enough, then you were getting destroyed in 2 seconds. And now I can think of a few Shifter decks that are super unfair, like Tenby Dragon, Ritual Beast, Kashtira, Flunderies, because they can loop the Shifter with Ryza, which is complete bullshit. So yeah, no, Shifter is really just one of the most toxic cards out there. It shouldn't exist, and it shouldn't exist. Alright, the original Sinful Spell Snake Eye, this card should also get banned. I have so many cards in the bad section. Like I said, I just want the world to burn. But yeah, original is the real issue. A lot of people have been saying, oh, Yak Sign, the real issue is Flamberge. You guys don't actually test. I'm 100% sure that there is no way you can actually think that Flamberge is a bigger problem than original. Because if you ban Flamberge, what are you solving? You're just making it so that Snake Eyes is even more destroyed when it's already destroyed if you limit Snake Eye Ash, ban IP, ban Apo. Even without Snake Eye, people are just gonna start playing Rescue Ace instead. And Rescue Ace is cracked. And at least if you ban Original, then Wanted and Diabellstar are no longer useful. They just do nothing. So the deck loses 7 one-card starters, which is a lot. People don't really talk about this, but this card is a huge consistency card that if you lose all those those copies to this card is going to be massive. And also, Rescue Ace is not going to be able to go like Bonfire into Populous and then Special Summon and then get Originals. So yeah, you're basically removing 10 one-card starters for Rescue Ace. So that now the only starters would be like Airlifter, Hydrant, Emergency. I mean, Emergency is not a true one-card starter, but it almost is. I mean, there's like other like starters for the deck. It's gonna hurt a lot. Yeah, I guess the Fiendsmith is a starter, but I'm banning the Link 1. So I'm pretty much fixing a lot of the issues without banning super specific archetype cards. I'm really just banning some generic splashable cards. I can't really, yeah, I mean, yeah, Yama is kind of, yeah, this is gonna be unfair for Unchained players, but who plays Unchained? Seriously, who plays the deck itself? Not the engine, but the deck. Nobody. Prosperity to 1, yeah, it's a Copium, it's never gonna happen, but I really want to. Yeah, Fountain to 1 alongside Runic Tip to 1. This card should have been limited a while back. I don't know why Konami was just not doing that. It's just so stupid. Yeah, let's semi-limit the card that people are only playing as a 2-of anyways. Same thing as IP, or rather SP in the OCG. Yeah, let's semi-limit SP. I remember I like kind of made fun of them like in the ban list in the OCG, and some people were actually defending SP to 2. They were like, bro, Yak-san, you don't understand. Some people are playing Extravagance with SP, bro. It's a huge nerf, man. Now it's like the odds of you know, banishing all of your SPs, they went from like 0.0001% to like 0.001%. Whoa, my god, no. Wow, that's insane. No, you're dumb. Okay, and yeah, Chandra, whatever, I don't care. This card might go to 3, too. I really couldn't care less. Alright, so that's pretty much it for my perfect ban list prediction / wishlist video. If you disagree with anything here, you are more than welcome to complain to my manager. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, blah, 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 and I'll see you guys eventually. Peace.